Hey you guys, what's up? This is James here at Unique Perspectives. What's up? What's up? It's good to make another video. I actually had a situation, not directly to me, but something online that took place that inspired me to actually make this video. Usually I think about these videos days or even weeks ahead of time, but this one I'm literally making within the last hour. I was like, oh hey, I should address this. So I'm just popped up my camera, set it up, and so we're about to do this. The video basically I want to focus on, or at least the concept is 5 stupid things that a lot of us guys tend to do when we're dealing with an attractive lady or have access to an attractive lady. And the reason why, of course, I'm very familiar with this is because I'm guilty of these things. I have done really stupid things as well, like a lot of us guys do when it comes to an attractive lady, or at least someone we're very attracted to. So I want to run down these 5 points that I think that we can just kind of sharpen up on, and things that we do, and maybe some solutions as well. But don't forget to like and subscribe. I would appreciate the support, and also have some dialogue with you guys. I was looking over my analytics and I could see a lot of men check out my material. So yeah, God bless you guys for that, and let's get into the topic at hand. So number one, I actually want to unpack this a little bit, and number one would be a lot of us, we assume, it may be an exaggeration, but a lot of us, we assume, and this is number one, that the woman is perfect. We assume that the woman is perfect. In fact, there's a term, I believe, called the halo effect, that it's the idea that when a person is attractive, we assume that they are smarter. We assume that they are wiser. We assume that they have their lives together. And if you live long enough, you realize that that's not always the case. Just because somebody is attractive, male or female, it doesn't mean that they have their life together. It doesn't mean they have their dating life together, and it definitely doesn't mean that they are wise. Wisdom comes with a lot of different things, but it's more of a spiritual, godly element. So that's unique from just living your life and trying to wing it and things like that. Wisdom comes from God. But it's just interesting because some of the points I would go here with this is that we have to keep in mind that just because a woman is attractive does not mean that she is, for example, looking for a quality man. And I think there are a lot of us that, and I want to be very careful because I don't want anyone to associate me with the red pill community. I am not red pill at all. I don't believe in putting down women. But I do think it's important to make a distinction between ladies that are mature and wise, and maybe they've learned from their mistakes and they actually want a better quality of life when it comes to finding a partner. And then you have women that maybe they're still in that phase where they are not recovering from the immaturities and just basically distributing themselves to unqualified men. So I want to always make a distinction, but it's just important to keep in mind that just because somebody is attractive, a lady is pretty, it doesn't mean that she is looking for a quality man. You could be a quality man. You could be one of the best options and opportunities for her to, I'm going to say, connect with, capitalize on. You could be somebody that's going to be faithful and loyal and loving. But just because she is attractive, sometimes we assume that she's going to be wise as well. She's going to strategically calculate, oh, hey, this guy has a job, this guy has a car, this guy pays his bills, I can trust him. And no, there are a lot of women, not all, but there are a lot of women that that doesn't mean anything to them. They are not actively looking for those elements. They're looking for, is the guy 6 feet? Does he have a nice body? Does he have a nice smile? And they're looking at things that really does not contribute towards a long-lasting, long-term relationship. So keep that in mind, that attractive is good. Obviously I'm a man, we're all men, who are looking at this mostly, probably, according to my analytics. And yeah, we appreciate an attractive lady. Nothing wrong with that. That's something God-given. Definitely very important to have, that physical attraction element. However, we need to be careful not to assume that somebody is wise, that they have their lives together and things like that just because they're physically attractive. This next point, I don't think I have too much to say about this, but number 2 is blindly agreeing with her. Blindly agreeing with her. And this is sort of like this is part of the reason why I even made this video, to be honest with you. I was actually inspired by something that took place today, and it basically happened recently on social media. I seen a lady that I know and I'm very familiar with. She posted something online and it was a meme and it had a message, but she was actually challenged by 1 or 2 people in her comments area on Facebook. And instead of really articulating her point and defending her position, she didn't really seem to know how to even go about doing that. And then some other guy came to kind of rescue her, and I'll get into all of that a little bit later in the video. But I noticed that there are a lot of people, especially with this particular lady, there were a lot of comments that blindly agreed with her. And it's almost as if there are a lot of men that, and it was really a great demonstration for what happens in real life. We have an attractive lady present, and there are a lot of guys that will blindly agree with whatever it is that she's saying. And in my opinion, that's one of the most unloving things that we can do to anyone, not just women, but anyone, is to know that they're wrong or that they're making errors, whether it's politically, theologically, philosophically, and we don't speak up and say, oh, hey, did you consider actually this point? You know, and there's a lot of people that I've met, guys, that think that if they agree with the woman blindly, that somehow she will somehow gravitate towards them romantic. And I think I fell into that, you know, in my 20s and maybe even early 30s. I was doing that very foolishly. I just thought when a woman said something that I was attracted to, you know, if I agree, then hopefully I'll have an opportunity to possibly date her. And not once has that ever happened. You know, I've had ladies that I've dated, but I realized that, you know, one of the things I want to share with you guys is that one of the things I noticed that helped me really be noticed by specific women is my individuality. And sometimes it was because I disagreed. It made me stand out, you know, so I really want to emphasize that. I think some ladies may appreciate when a guy agrees with them. Maybe they're right about a certain point, but I think ladies will appreciate a man that doesn't blindly agree with them, but he can say, hey, you know, I know you said this, but actually studies say the opposite, or statistically it's the opposite, or whatever, you know, the evidence is otherwise, you know. And I think it can be a little hard sometimes, especially when you really are attracted to a woman, but we do ladies a disservice when we do this. And to be honest with you, this is actually one of my personal pet peeves. I do not like when guys blindly agree with an attractive lady just because they're hoping and wishing that she's gonna fall in love with them just they agreed with her online or whatever else. You know, I just think we do ladies a big disservice when we do that kind of stuff. One of the areas that a lot of us fall into, and this is number 3, is we give women that we're really attracted to a lot of attention. I can't tell you how many times I have driven maybe an hour plus just to assist a lady that honestly really could care less about my contribution towards helping her with her flat tire or whatever else. She just seen it as like she was entitled to have that. She was entitled to have that. And one of the things that I needed to come to terms with at the time, and I feel like as a 40-year-old man, now I understand this now, is that a lot of attractive ladies, they're going to have plenty of people willing to help them. Plenty of men already at their disposal, ready to help them, ready to feed them, ready to pay a bill if need be. And I think I had to come to terms with the fact that this is the reality, that I don't need to be the savior that's going to save them, you know. Even if I'm interested in, you know, growing with them or trying to pursue them possibly, I don't have to always be the first person to volunteer my service and go out of my way to try to save them and things like that. And I might touch on that with another point. I think it's just important just to keep that in mind. You don't want to be the guy that every time she runs out of milk, you're volunteering. Hey, let me go to the store so I can give you milk. You know, I think that there is some type of an appreciation for a man that allows a woman to sometimes, you know, take care of things herself, you know. I think that we should still help ladies, of course. I'm very traditional. I am very, you know, conservative. I am a Christian man. I do believe men should be assisting and helping women. We're designed to do that. But I also think that there needs to be a boundary. And I think one of the things that hurts a lot of us guys, especially those of us that are not trying to be womanizers and abusers and red pill and all that, but a lot of us that want to be, and I'm not talking about blue pill either, I'm talking about like actual balanced traditional men that actually want to be married, that actually wants to build something with a quality lady. I think sometimes we have a difficulty with drifting on either side. You know, the idea is to really have a balanced understanding of, you want to help a lady and be present, but you also don't want to be her savior. You don't want to always be the person that she's calling just to fix something, and then when she wants to actually date, you're not the person that she considers. She considers somebody else, orbiter number 3 or orbiter number 6 or whoever else. Don't put yourself in that position. One of the things I really want to emphasize, and this kind of goes back to the lady I was talking about online, is I actually had the opportunity to meet her last year, and I met her maybe twice, and both times I insisted on paying. And I think in my mind at the time, I was under the impression, and it's so funny I'm talking about this because basically I'm guilty of this, some of the things I'm talking about, but I assumed that she was in a place in her life where she was ready to date and be with a man that loves God, and so she was aware that I'm a man that does not compromise his relationship with God. I will disagree with anyone if they disagree with the Bible, and I'm not somebody that's going to push my thoughts on people either. I don't force anybody to believe my politically conservative values or my Christian values at all. I don't mind having a nice exchange, and I don't mind agreeing to disagree and still being polite and being respectful towards one another. I have no issue with that. But I think that I assume that she would appreciate me paying for both these meals. And I think there was some form of appreciation, but to be honest with you, and this is just my personal assessment, I did get the impression that she was not that impressed, that it was almost like she's accustomed to that. She's accustomed to it. And I think that's one of the difficulties with some people, and I'm not going to say just women, some guys as well. When you are in a position where you are accustomed to getting accommodated, it's sometimes difficult for a person to really appreciate when somebody is paying bill or paying for a meal for you. It's almost like you expect it. You assume that this is what they're supposed to do anyway. We want to be careful when we're giving our attention, giving our money, our resources, our time, because, especially with time, that's one of the elements you do not get back. You cannot get that back. We have to be very careful with who it is we invest in. I'm not saying don't pursue a woman. It's important that we do that. It's essential we do that. Proverbs 18:22, the Bible says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. So it's really important just to keep that in mind. Number 4 kind of touches back a little bit with what I was talking about earlier. And this is more so treating her special, but treating other women the same. And I think that this is something I actually borrowed from Coach Corey Wayne. So I really want to give him his credit with this, because even though he's not a Christian man, I feel like there are a lot of elements that he learned firsthand that he really mastered. And what I like about him is he's not necessarily red pill at all. He doesn't really associate with that community. He has a very independent mind when it comes to these things, and he has his own conclusions that he's learned from studies and also experience. I feel like I'm advertising him, but definitely would recommend you guys check him out. He's on Rumble. He has a lot more stuff on Rumble than YouTube these days, but I would definitely advise you to check him out. But he really demonstrated that. Coach Corey Wayne, in a lot of his work, really shows that you don't want to start treating one woman very special because you're attracted to her, and then you have other women that are around you that, let's say you may be possibly interested in, and you treating all of them, everyone differently. You want to treat almost the ladies the same. And I don't mean same as in like being rude, but I mean you want to be respectful to everyone. If everyone needs help, you would assist them, but you want to be mindful that you're not worshiping or idolizing a lady. I think that there's a difference between a woman that has not committed to you, for example, but you're calling her and texting her every day. And in some cases, there are some guys that have gotten lucky, and because they just bombarded a woman over and over again with text messages, with calls, with emails. Hey, how are you doing, sweetheart? Hey, good night, sweetheart. Maybe the lady will just give it a try and maybe test the chemistry, and it worked out. But in most cases, it doesn't work out. And I think that a lot of us, including myself, we falling into the idea of life being like the romantic comedy. We always assume that the nice guy, sweet guy is going to win the heart of the woman because he's polite, because he's being genuine. But we have to keep in mind that there are a lot of elements that are not being really shared in a lot of these kind of films, that women appreciate masculine men. Just because she wants to eat at a certain place doesn't mean you have to blindly agree all the time. You can say, hey, you know what? We tried your place last time. Now we're going to try this place. Or, hey, you know what? I actually made reservations for a place I like. Or, you know what? I really have a taste for this today, And so I think it's important just to balance that. I'm not talking about red pill. I'm not talking about blue pill. I'm talking about actually having like a balance. And the reason why I'm really sharing this is because I'm in one of those places in my life where now I know how to conduct myself moving forward. And so it's like, I feel very blessed, I'm going to say, that now I'm not being pulled around like I once was as a younger man. Anytime a pretty lady was around, I was just trying to accommodate her. So I still think that we should pursue ladies, but we want to be mindful of our time, our resources, that we're not allowing a woman to just exploit us, even unintentionally. There are some ladies that if you keep volunteering to drive her everywhere, she'll take it, and you will be burning your gas for absolutely nothing while she deals with, I don't know, Tyrone or Chad or whoever else, Be mindful of that. One of the other things I want to address in this area is just being mindful not to always save a lady. And I think there's a name for this. It's called like the white knight. And I'll give you an example. The lady that I was making reference to earlier, online, she posted something, somebody challenged her, and instead of her speaking for herself, there was a gentleman, I assume he has some type of romantic interest in her, or maybe they're dating, or I don't know what's going on, but he jumped in trying to basically save her honor. And it's interesting because I remember in my early to mid-20s, I was doing that online. I was under the impression that if I spoke on behalf of that lady, that somehow later on, if I somehow messaged or private messaged her later, she'll start connecting with me and she'll say, oh, you're the guy that was defending me. Hey, here's my number and whatever. And life doesn't work like that. Again, life is not a romantic comedy. We don't operate in that manner. So it's important just to keep that really, really in mind, that we can't go around saving women, and not only on the online situations, but even in person. Yeah, but I hope that makes a lot of sense, you guys. It's really important just to, in a general sense, not lock yourself into a situation in which you are really just not treating a woman. You don't want to lock yourself into a situation in which you have like the wrong impression in regards to how to approach a lady. And then you don't want to position yourself to be somebody that is considered weak, or someone that is someone that can be trampled on. Is pretty straight to the point, and it's really just treating every woman the same. And I think I mentioned this before, but this is something that Coach Corey Wayne actually teaches, and this is something that I borrow from him, and I agree. I absolutely agree. You know, and I've picked up his book. I thought he did a very good job with how he expressed himself. He definitely is not a Christian, but I think there are a lot of different dynamics, or at least different elements regarding what he teaches, that I think is very applicable for a man that's trying to be balanced when it comes to actually moving forward successfully in a relationship with a potential partner. What I like about Coach Corey is he's not red pill, he's not blue pill. He believes in a man, being masculine, but also not being someone that is going to be trampled by a woman, you know. And he really, you know, I'll let you guys, you know, check out his stuff. You know, he really does a very good job. I might put a link in one of his below. I may put a link below to one of his videos that I think is very helpful. But, you know, I don't apply everything that he teaches, but I think he is, out of all the internet gurus that's circulating the internet, when it comes to masculinity, I think Coach Corey Wayne does the best job. He provides a very balanced approach when it comes to dealing with women. And one of the things he really helps avoid, and this is another element to what I'm trying to cover in number 4, is really just avoiding being like an orbiter. You know, I know women that anytime they're bored, they get on the phone, they contact guys that they don't really like because they're bored, and they want to either hang out with them to, you know, take them out to eat, or maybe it's, hey, I'm gonna go out to this outing. I don't like you like that, but I just want to go out. And you don't want to be that guy that your role is basically to be like a toy being taken down off the shelf, played with, and then the person's putting you back. You know, you want to be someone that in some ways you can be unpredictable, you know, that you have your own individuality, that you understand what direction you're going. And again, I think I addressed this earlier, but there are a lot of women in their feminine energy that, you know, they appreciate a man that is an individual. He's not going to be somebody that can just be walked on and manipulated so easily. You know, you want to be someone that maybe after the lady is yours, you can, you know, start accommodating her, but you want to be an individual. You want to have that masculine energy that demonstrates that you are a leader, that you are strong, that you have direction, that you're not indecisive, but you are decisive with the direction of your life, even down to where you're ready to eat and things like that. So definitely, again, definitely want to recommend Coach Corey Wayne and his channel. I think he has a lot of stuff on YouTube and Rumble. He started to move towards Rumble for his own reasons, so just wanted to share that. I guess one last thing I want to share, and this is a big area because I think I did a poor job at avoiding this area in my youth, is really just being that guy that ladies like to talk to. And this kind of goes back to treating women the same. Is you don't want to be one of those guys that every time they have an issue, they know that they can talk to you for 6 hours without you even really hitting on them or being interested in them romantically. I think it's very important that we actually express ourselves when we're interested in a woman. And you don't have to do it in a cringy, creepy way. But you can let her know, hey, I'm feeling you. I would love to take you out. And if the woman is saying no, I don't think that we should be harassing her, but, you know, we should remind her, hey, I'm attracted to you. I'm not your gay best friend, you know. Like, I'm interested in you romantically. I'm attracted to you, you know. So I think it's very important to make a distinction with who it is that you are versus the other men that may be in her life. You know, there are a lot of attractive ladies that are accustomed to guys gravitating towards them, always around them, always in their sphere. And so you want to stand out, and you'd be surprised how many guys would never tell a woman that they're actually attracted to them. They'll just hang around and be their friend and just orbit around them. You know, hence orbiter, and they'll just be around the woman until they feel that maybe there's an opportunity to get with them when the woman's either vulnerable, which I think is very sick, you know, or they'll just wait around and hope for the best. And I don't think that's a very efficient way to utilize our time, if that makes sense. I kind of touched on this in my last not my last point, but an earlier point. But I do want to share, and that is assuming that she is attracted to you. I think that there are some people that teach that, we should assume that every woman is attracted to us. Personally, I don't think that's very realistic. In fact, I feel like most of us guys, we don't need to be told this, but we know that there are a lot of women that we interact with that are not attracted to us. And we live in a very superficial world, so there are some people that are going for a specific look or a specific height and all that sort of thing. So I feel like for ladies, it's kind of harder to come to terms with that, but for a lot of us guys, I think we pretty much got it. Like, we understand if we are a little bit shorter than a certain height, there are some ladies that will look down on us. We all know that. If you don't have that muscular body, there are some ladies that are just not interested. And we're very accustomed to hearing ladies calling a guy that's even like considered average height, maybe 5'9", short, even though the woman is much shorter than that, so we're very accustomed to that. And I think that's one of the advantages, I think, of being a man, is we're accustomed to being disappointed or rejected or knowing that we don't qualify. And then we can learn to actually move on, which is, it can be a good thing. But I think that for number 5, I really want to emphasize, we want to be mindful that just because a woman has access to you and may be checking in with you periodically, doesn't mean that she likes you and she's attracted to you. There are plenty of women that will gladly be experimenting with other men as they're touching bases with you. And it's not because they're attracted to you, but it's because maybe you're a very good conversationalist, or they like your advice, or they just want to, they feel very comfortable with you and they treat you like a brother and stuff like that. And so again, I know I touched on this before, but you want to avoid being in that, I guess I would call it the friend zone. And maybe I need to make a video about that, the whole friend zone thing. But you definitely want to be mindful that just because a woman contacts you, texts you every now and again, or maybe even invite you out, it doesn't always mean she likes you. You want to look at certain attributes in regards to, is she actually attracted to you? What type of things is she saying? Because there are some ladies that they're just bored, and if you're available, then she'll settle for you instead of Tyrone or Chad or whoever that she really wants to be with. So I hope these things were helpful. I feel like I was a little all over the place with some of my points, but yeah, I hope this was very helpful, you guys. I'm going to get into a little bit more of these dating tips, because I feel like we need to really help each other out when it comes to this sort of thing. There are a lot of guys that, I've read, statistically, that's like, I don't know if it was 1 out of 3 guys are in a relationship or being intimate, or I don't know if it was 1 of 4, but it was like some sad statistic here in the West, and I was like, yikes, man, this is not cool, man. Like, something's going on. So I want to be married one day, and I want for all of you guys to be married, checking me out and stuff like that. I think that it's something that God would want, and I'm not talking about being in a relationship with anybody. I think that we should be with somebody that we are actually attracted to. Again, God bless you guys. Thank you for those of you that are hearing me out and listening to what I have to say. Please like and subscribe. I would love your support. And if you have a comment, agreement, disagreement, or you just want to bring up a point, by all means, go for it. I would love to hear what you have to say. And yeah, you can always hit me up on Instagram and Facebook as well. I love having dialogues with, my new friends as well. So yeah, God bless you guys. Take care. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.